Hey travel friends, it's Stoof here from Travel SzN. Welcome back to our channel. We recently went on a trip to the Cayman Islands. During our time there, we took an excursion through the Cayman Crystal Caves. In this video, I'm going to provide information about highlights of the Crystal Caves tour. In addition, I'm going to talk about our experience on the Crystal Caves tour and let you know if we recommend this excursion. And I have a link for you guys to book your own Crystal Caves experience in the description under this video. Before I dive into it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to our channel. We post helpful travel information and fun travel adventure videos like this one. The Cayman Crystal Caves are on the island of Grand Cayman, closer to the east end side of the island. We booked this tour through Cayman Crystal Caves. They provided a shuttle for us. Our resort was located along 7 Mile Beach, so we gave them our resort information ahead of time, and we should be outside the reception area about 1 hour prior to our tour start time so they could pick us up. They picked us up right on time, along with stopping at a few other resorts on 7 Mile Beach to pick up guests for the excursion. And it was about a 45-minute ride in the air-conditioned van to the Cayman Crystal Caves property. Once we arrived at the property, we showed our scan codes to the ticket office and proceeded to the main meeting area where we get an introduction to the history of the land and information about the families that first explored these caves. In this introductory area, there also is a little sluicing spot. If you pay, I believe it's like 10 to 20 Cayman dollars, you can pour a bucket of sand mixed with different little minerals, and you can sluice through the water and get your minerals out as if you just mined for them yourself. After the introductions wrap up, everybody hops into another shuttle, and it's about a 5 to 10 minute drive in the shuttle. They're going pretty slow because these are gravel roads that take you down the hills and to the area where the cave entrances are located. They have a big tree house, restaurant, hangout spot centralized in this area as well that we walked through at first, and then at the end of the tour we ended up in the same spot. So there are 3 caves that we stopped at on the Crystal Caves tour. Before we got to the first cave, there's a nice little path through the forest that we all walked through as a group. Different tree species and plants are labeled so you can learn more about the plants and the environment that they grow in. There is a host for each little group. I believe everybody from the introductory area was broken down into 4 groups of about 10 people. So it is a small group with a guide for each group, and the guide can tell you more information about the plants and animals that are native to this area. The guides did a great job captivating the whole audience. There was a range of people in our audience, different ages, from different countries and things like that. And I think the guide did a really nice job of keeping everyone involved and letting everyone feel included. After walking through the forest, we made it to the first cave of our tour, which is called Ceiling Cave. This cave has a big open hole in the ceiling that opens up to the sky. It has some beautiful stalactites and stalagmites. It's not a huge cave. There's one big open room that kind of leads off into a secondary room that's a bit more condensed with stalagmites and stalactites. And that secondary room has some beautiful crystalline structure in the stalactites. In our first cave here, we also saw our first bunch of bats. It was just a little cluster of 3 or 4 bats in that ceiling cave, big open room area. And the bats didn't really bother anyone, and no one bothered them. They were just taking a nap up in the ceiling, hanging from their little feet. And they're super cute to see in person. We did have to go up and down a spiral staircase to get into Ceiling Cave. If you cannot go up and down flights of stairs or you have trouble going on uneven ground, I would not recommend this tour, as that is something you will encounter on the Crystal Caves tour. We entered and exited Ceiling Cave the same way, and after exiting, we continued a path through the forest, learning more about the flora and fauna of the area. And we made it to our second cave on the tour, which is called Roots Cave. This cave is called Roots Cave for the roots of the trees above that grew down into the cave. A lot of the stalactites were covered in algae, and I believe that is what was creating that odor. And it was a strong, earthy, almost mildewy type of smell in this cave. Roots Cave was larger than the section of Ceiling Cave that we were shown. There were several different rooms and areas you could walk through. Some areas of the cave are well lit. They have lights in the cave, and there's a really beautiful section of roots coming down from the tree above that come right through the cave to the floor of the cave. There was one stalagmite that they thought looked like a UFO. He was pointing that out to everyone. There was another one that looked like a turtle. It was another short walk over to Lake Cave, which was the third and final cave we visited on our Crystal Caves tour. Lake Cave was another one that they had some nice lighting illuminating up the stalactites and different parts of the cave. The footpath was pretty easy to follow as well. The back room area of Lake Cave is where you get to see the actual lake in the cave. There's a body of still water in there, and they have light features in the water, and they have them on different settings so it can change the lighting around as you're looking at it, and it can light up different features to draw your attention to different structures of the rock in the cave. The water was crystal clear. When the lighting was on a certain setting, there was a perfect reflection of the stalactites above the water. When they changed it to a different setting, you could see a turquoise hue in the water. When they changed the lighting to another setting, you could see how extensively deep this lake goes back into the distance. Of course, you can't walk down into that area. From where I'm standing here, this is the farthest you can go in this cave on this tour. It's still breathtaking to see. I've personally never seen a cave with this clear water and the magnificent lighting that they put in there that just illuminates everything for you. It's so beautiful to see in person. And because you're in a small group, everybody gets a chance to see it. On the way out of Lake Cave, you don't exit the exact same way that you entered. You exit off to the left, and there is another big open room, kind of like that first cave we saw, Ceiling Cave. And in this area, there were so many clusters of bats up in the ceiling. It was really cool to see.
Have you heard that saying, blind as bats? No, yes, no? Yes. Well, that's not true because they are not blind.
We saw one or two fly in and out of the cave while the guide was talking about the bats and telling us fun facts about them. And it was really impressive. There were clusters of maybe like 20 to 30 bats in one little section, all huddled together. I was very excited to see that many happy, healthy bats. After exiting that last cave, which was Lake Cave, we made our way back up a little pathway to that treehouse section where we were allowed to go through a gift shop if we wanted to get any gift items, and we were also able to order beverages and food if we cared to do so. Whenever enough people were ready to go, they had us load back into the shuttles, took us back to the entrance where we hopped on another shuttle that took us back to our resorts. And that was the end of our Crystal Caves excursion. So that wraps up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed hearing about our experience. I absolutely recommend the Crystal Caves tour if you are considering booking this tour. In addition to seeing the caves in person, you get to learn more about the history of the families that founded this place, you get to learn more about the flora and fauna of the area, and you get to see some bats. The tour itself was less than 2 hours, so it is a good half-day excursion if you are visiting the island through a cruise port, or if you just want a half day of a fun excursion to do. It's a family-friendly excursion. There were kids with us in the group, and the guide did a great job including the kids in the conversation, quizzing them, asking them fun questions to keep them involved and engaged. And overall, it was a very pleasant experience. I learned some things, and I loved looking at those beautiful caves. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I have a link for the Crystal Caves in the description under this video. Have a great day and happy travels!